the beginning of this company a few years ago, my co-founders and I spoke to 100 manufacturers. We asked them, do you use robots today? How do you use them? Who programmed? How long did it take? And we realized that the products are really hard to use, that they're really complicated, they're too expensive. And we also realized that 99% of them are not made here in the US. Most of the robots that we buy here in the US are not American-made robots. And so we set out to change that, to build an American-made robotics company with products that are simple enough to use. You don't even need a manual. It's like an iPhone, you don't have a manual, and we want our robot to be like that. And we also realized that with the shifts in physical AI, that we can create a product that you train for demonstration in this entirely new way, where you show it what to do, and it can just do the task on its own. And so that's what we've set out to do. We think we're well on our way, and we can't wait to show it, to automate all of the new things in the AI space and what's going on. It's been a wild ride. It's many years of ups and downs, but what it has been the last couple of years, the last year and a half, 2 years, has been really sustained and dramatic growth. And the company as a whole couldn't be more excited about getting to serve customers. We're passionate about solving our customers' automation problems, on making them successful, on going above and beyond and exceeding expectations. And that's been the last 2 years. So there's two types of tasks that we're excited to automate. One are the tasks that all the traditional robot companies can do: machine tending, welding, palletizing, those types of tasks. And for those, we try to make a product that's easier to program, that's more affordable, and just a delight to use. But there's this other bucket of tasks. And these are the tasks that if you call your integrator and you say, hey, could you do this? They say, just not possible. Or it's going to be so dramatically cost prohibitive that you wouldn't even consider it. Maybe they wouldn't even quote it. And we call these impossible jobs. And we're really excited to automate the impossible tasks as well, because those are the jobs that can really move the needle. We're automating today so little of what we really need to bring back manufacturing and improve our efficiency as a country. Yeah, an example would be there's a task in automotive where you have to do something to one of the subcomponents, and it has to happen with only a minute time at the station. And traditionally, it just took too long to do it without AI. But with physical AI, you're able to show the robot how to do that job, and it can hone in just on the area that needs that operation performed and do it. And so you can meet the cycle time, you can perform the task at human level and do it a lot faster than you would have been able to do it without physical AI. So at the beginning of this journey, a couple of years ago, you would go to see a professor of robotics, and they would show you their clothes folding robot. And they've been working on folding clothes with this robot for decades. And you'd see it fold the clothes, and you wouldn't necessarily be that impressed for 30 years of work. And what's changed in the last few years is all the advancements in something like ChatGPT are coming to the physical world, where you can perform the job using a handheld device or through teleoperation using a little mini controller. You control the arm and you show it what to do, and that's creating training data to train an AI model that can do the job autonomously. And these models can extrapolate to do things they've never seen before. So if you show it a small object and a large one, it can handle the in-between objects entirely on its own without having to be shown what to do. It's incredibly powerful, and it's going to change the whole world in terms of what we can automate, how quickly we can automate, how resilient automation is to changes in the workflow and the parts in the process. So we're really excited about all of that. I think when we look back on 2026, we're going to say that we barely had automated anything, that the robots were so limited, that they were so hard to deploy, that you needed to spend days or weeks to get a robot installed. And I think all that's going to change over the coming years. It's going to be so much easier to automate a job. When you do automate the job, it's going to be so much easier to change what the robot's doing. And I think that that's going to have a material impact on society and our ability to manufacture as a country and industries beyond manufacturing. It's going to lower the cost of food and other items for people who can't afford them the most. And so we think this will have a meaningful impact. We think that making these technologies more capable and helping to deploy them more broadly, but making them easier to use is the way to have that impact. And that's what we do at Sandbots. Our goal is to build the biggest robotics company in the world. And we think the way to do that is to make the best product at the lowest cost, made here in the United States, using the latest technology, making the product the most capable of automating almost any job that you throw it in. So we're working our way in that direction. We want to, every month we see we can do more jobs, more capabilities, the AI improves. And I think if you extrapolate out, absolutely amazing where things will be in just a few years. Yeah, we've been engaged with Washington over the last few months, the last year for the most part. I've testified twice. We've participated with the president of A3, Jeff Bernstein, testified the last time to Congress a few weeks ago in the House Science Committee. We participated with Jeff again in the roundtable at the Department of Commerce. So we've been engaging with members, with congressmen, with senators across the aisle, both sides of the aisle. And really what we're advocating for is for the country, and what the A3 is advocating for is for the country to have a national robotics policy. The most interesting thing about the recent committee, the House Science Committee on Robotics, really this was the first, what I heard from staff, is the first committee meeting in decades. I think they said 20 years that are particularly focused on robotics. And so that's a big deal just to start. Second, we had the chairman, for example, come out and say, we need to, this is important for the country. We need to be dominant in robotics. And to hear the chairman say that and to hear that level of attention from the US government on these issues, I think it's a milestone. It's super important. There's a number of bills that have been introduced that we support to create a committee to create America's robotics policy. So we're both supporting those bills and making policy suggestions. And so it's a milestone hearing in many ways in that regard.